Hey.
All right, Sean.
My pal for over 40 years, Tony Clifton.
Hello, Sean.
We're going to be talking tattoos.
Okay.
Yeah? So, you've been tattooing for longer than what I've known you.
40 years now. Well, I started when I was 18.
But where did you start at the beginning?
Well, I'll tell you how I got into it and how I started, really. I used to do some artwork for a guy in Kettering, a guy called Titch. He used to work from his garden shed. Because there were no shops in them days, like going back in the 70s. No one had a shop. We had to go to Kettering or Leicester to get our artwork done, or a guy from a house in Northampton. Well, he knew I was into tattooing. I made my first machine out of an old Scalextrics and a biro, very much like the prison sort of machines, and practiced on a few friends. And he says, look, I'll sell you a bit of kit, 200 quid. It was basically a box of junk, but it was enough to get me going. Used to have blisters on our hands. It was a terrible bit of kit, no capacitors on the machines. They used to run hot, but it got me into it. And I worked from my mate's bedroom for a little while, so I didn't have any money. Used to do it as a hobby, basically. And it just went from there, really. Just got more and more into drawing. I used to draw designs for him. And eventually I got my first shop back in 1981.
Going to the bedroom you used to tattoo out of.
Yeah.
I believe that's where I got my first tattoo.
It was, yeah. It was my mate's bedroom. And there was like 3 of us living there in that one room. We had to put everything in the corner and just put a table there and turn it into a makeshift tattoo studio. I mean, it's pretty crude, but that was all it was in them days. It's not like it is now. Things have changed now. There was, as I say, there was no shops. The laws are a lot better now. When we started, I mean, I was only 18 myself. A lot of kids were still coming in from school, and people were getting tattooed because no one asked for ID then.
Yeah. And your first shop, Tony, was Hunter Street?
Hunter Street was my first shop, yeah. I was just renting that one, £25 a week that was. And I was quite happy there, but then the landlord decided to sell it, so I had to vacate and find other premises. Now, I was lucky that down the road, in Overston Road, which was only a couple of 100 yards away, there was a shop up for sale. It's 27,000, my first shop, and I had to borrow £2,000 to put down. Beg, steal and borrow, actually. But I did. I managed to accumulate the money, put it down, and open my first shop back in 1981, which was called Skin Skills in Overston Road, Northampton.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. Next to the shoe shop.
It's a lovely little shop, that was, yeah.
Yeah.
Then what happened? I was there for a few years. Then that become like a back street. You know, like every street used to have a corner shop, and it was quite thriving. They all got turned into flats and houses, and I was the only shop down there. So I thought, let's go a bit more high profile now, find one on a busier street, a bus route, and get more clients. So what I did, I purchased a shop round the corner on a main road in Kettering Road and opened Alternative Art. That was open in 96.
Yeah, that's up to the present day now.
That's still going out to the present day. And I employ 5 artists there, all girls.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And you do the removals as well there?
Yeah, Simon, my wife, does the removals upstairs. See, removals have changed over the years. When the first removals come in, there were carbon dioxide lasers, and they used to scar horrifically. They'd take the ink out, but leave like a racetrack of scars. These new ones, what they do, they break down the ink to microscopic particles, and your white blood cells take it out your body. So that doesn't scar anymore. Yeah. Just a natural process.
So let's go through, talking about process, let's go through the process of tattooing. Where did tattooing begin, Tone? Where?
Well, the earliest form of tattooing, well, the Egyptian mummies were found with tattoos, going back 3,000 years. But the introduction to England, I believe, was by Captain Cook in the 18th century. He was in the South Pacific Islands, Hawaii, and they were doing hand tattoos because there's no machines out there. And it was a tapping noise, tap, tap, tap. And the rumour is that they were going out, so it went tap-ow. Tap-ow became tattoo. But even his soldiers, not whether he did, but his soldiers got his sailors got tattoos and brought them back. And then in England, obviously, it was people see them then, and it just expanded from there. But they have been around for years and years.
Yeah. And they used to do it with a stick, you said?
Yeah, some people still do. In Japan, it's traditional to use a stick. There's different ways of doing it. In England, we use electric machines, but traditional Japanese tattooing is done with a stick. And the Polynesian ones, they use a stick like a rake, is the best way to explain it, like a small rake, and they hit it with a tiny mallet.
That's right, yeah. I've seen...
You see it done that?
I've seen it done down at the convention in
Yeah,
Northampton there.
Quite a slow process, but that's what they're used to. That's what they do.
Yeah. And going back to the removal part of it, you're saying that the machines have moved on and technology is a lot better now. Is there more profit in the removal or the tattooing now?
It's a bit of both now, because you don't have to take them completely out. What people want now, if they've got old crude crap ones, they can lighten them up so they're half gone and then have something decent over it. So it gives you more option and choice now.
And are more people coming to get removals?
Yeah, a lot more now, because it doesn't scar and it's more accessible now. You know, there's a few places do it. I mean, tattooing's mainstream now. There's 25 shops in Northampton, so it's really popular now. That's due to the internet. In the 80s, when the internet come out, the designs were better. Because years ago, you'd pick designs from the wall. They'd be just basically stamp designs. You know, you'd go, how much is that eagle? 1A. Oh, that'd be £2.50.
Yeah. And
you just stick it on and follow the pattern. There's only 3 colours, red, yellow and green. But now you can get the whole colours of the spectrum now. But you see, say like, for example, a sailing ship. Someone wanted a sailing ship, there'd only be one on the wall. Now you go on the internet, 6 million have come up. So you've got all the art there for you.
Wow. And you're saying there was only 3 colours. So when did the choice of colours come in, and you know what kind of colours
I think in the 80s really, because we used to go over Leicester, because he had a blue and a purple, and we'd never see it in Northampton. That's when the blues, the purples and the browns and the whites were out. And then now you've got an array of all the colours of the spectrum now. It's just progressed over the years. Like everything, it's got better. The machines are better now. I mean, the first ones, they used to run off car batteries. They were pretty crude, but now they do cordless ones with the batteries built in, rechargeable like your phone. So there's no clip cord now. They're just a machine, which is like a shape of a pen now, and pretty much not bigger than a pen.
But the better machines are, or surely must be, the ones handmade.
I still use the handmade ones, but they're quite rare to get now. It's all very commercial now, made by computers and whatnot now. It's very few people do hand-built machines now.
Do they tend to be more expensive now, the hand-built ones? Like more?
You'd probably pay £500-600 for one, but the cordless ones are £1,100, the rotary ones. Yeah, I mean, my first tattoo machine was ever so cheap, £50 when I got into it, when I bought them in the 80s.
Was that from Kev?
Kev Scalextric used to make, he still does make them, yeah, a very good friend of mine. He makes tattoo machines, and I still use them now. Him and Mickey Sharps in Birmingham, they were really the founders of it. They pushed tattooing to the limit, doing great work, great neat work, and selling good equipment, which helped everyone along the line.
Yeah. What you see a lot more younger people now getting inked. Does that tend to be the fashion across the board, or is it still a full age range?
It is a full age range, but the majority, I mean, you have to be by law 18. But the majority, I'd say, are 18 to 22. But the fashion now is black and grey, not colour. I think people like David Beckham, Lewis Hamilton, people like that have pushed it. You know, they got high-profile people now with tattoos, and it all helps because it's not shun upon now. I mean, when I got my first ones years ago, you couldn't get into nightclubs. Some nightclubs in Northampton, at Cinderella Rockefellers, they wouldn't let you in. You was limited to job choices if you had tattoos visible. Yeah. Now, I mean, you go to Tesco's and a lot of people on the checkout have got my neck, their hands.
Yeah.
It's more acceptable now, Sean.
Yeah. So, with them being more acceptable, there's obviously a lot more, you know, the competition for you in Northampton must be massive now.
Yeah, there's over 100 artists in Northampton, I'd say.
Wow.
Yeah, each
you
shop's
were
got
the
4 or
only
5.
one really originally, weren't you?
Me and Phil Thomas, we was out. Yeah, I mean, I've probably been going the longest shop in Northampton. Yeah.
Yeah. And is that, you know, obviously there's been a need or
supply and demand, isn't it?
Supply and demand.
The more people want them, the more people are jumping on the bandwagon.
Yeah.
But I think the bubble will burst soon. There's just too many shops now.
Yeah. And has that affected, you know, have you got a regular?
Well, we're quite lucky. We're established and we do good quality work. We've won several awards all around the world.
Yeah.
So, you know, we've got a good reputation and we're still busy, but there's more and more. Each year, there's more and more people coming onto the scene, which is a good thing because these are young, dedicated artists.
Yeah.
You know, when I started, not many people could draw. Now, these are like, come from college. They're fully qualified artists.
They're trained.
They're sculptors, they're painters. And it's easier for them to get into it. They've got a good understanding of it.
Wow. So they're actually putting out, like, obviously drawing.
Yeah, much better.
Curriculums in schools now or colleges.
Yeah, I believe there's some place you can go to probably learn to tattoo now.
Yeah.
I think there's tattoo colleges, yeah.
Wow. What, in Britain?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know where they are, but you could find them, yeah.
Wow. Wow. And is that, obviously, for your shop, it's going to be beneficial because you've got more choice of artists. But like you say, is the bubble going to burst? Is it going to slow down? Is it going to...
Well, it's right at the top at the minute. It's a height of fashion. Everybody's getting them in the minute. But that could soon turn. It'd be more fashionable not to have them if too many have them.
Yeah.
You know, it could go the other way. And there's so many people doing it. I think it will slow down.
But the type of... Right, you've got your own little niche tone with certain kinds of tattoos.
Yeah.
How many kinds of different tattoos is it? You know, like...
Different styles.
Yeah.
Well, I specialise in Japanese, bold, bright Japanese style. You know, dragons, kois, samurais. But then you've got your Polynesian style, which is your black pattern work. You've got realism style, which looks just like paintings, no outlines to them. You've got your tribal, which was big in the 80s. You don't do so much of that now. The Maori, the tribal, and then you've got the traditional, the basic 3 colours, but done well now. You know, your sailing ships, your heart, your panthers, your daggers. What else is there? There's Celtic.
Yeah, would the traditional ones, would they be the ones brought back by Captain Cook's sailors?
Basically, yeah. Yeah, but they're obviously done better over the years. The designs are better, the machines are better, but they're based back on them traditional type sailor ones.
Yeah, yeah. Because that would be the, you know, from thinking back now of some of the tattoos, what the sailors did used to have, they were very much the same. They
were small and they went all blue, didn't they?
Yeah.
Very, very few colours. And if there was, swallow, dagger. Exactly that. A naked woman, or if
that's
you went,
right.
Yeah.
Well, a woman in every port.
That's
So, you know, with the different styles of tattoos, there must be different artists. What obviously excel in a certain style. So you've got the Japanese koi and samurai.
Yeah.
There must be, obviously, you employ different artists what excel in different departments.
Yeah. I mean, and Natalie does the portraits. When Natalie was at art school, the teachers were buying her artwork. That's how good an artist she is.
Wow.
She's remarkable. If you want any portraits doing, she's the girl. Anna does the little really neat, what's popular now is the small designs on girls with no colour, just dot shading. She can bang them out and really, really neat. See, that's what's happened over the years. It's got really neat now. It's not, because the machines are better, the designs are better, the inks are better, the whole thing is better now.
Yeah.
They're not as crude as they used to be. The needles are finer, the pigments are better.
Yeah, yeah. So the more on point the artist is, obviously the more the artist can charge.
Yeah.
Because some of them, you know, you read about Beckham's.
Yeah, if you go up London, they're probably like £2,000 a day. We charge 70 an hour, but there's shops around what charge 100 an hour. That's in Northampton. If you went to London, you'd probably pay 150 an hour.
Wow. Well, but that would be obviously paying for the ink, the machine, the electric.
Yeah. I mean, the cost of living in London would be dearer. Yeah, that's gone up, but so is the artwork and the preparation now. It's all single-use needles now, single-use ink. Years ago, wasn't that? You used to use the same needle, same ink.
That's right, disinfect them.
Yeah, just wash them out, yeah. We never wore gloves till the AIDS scare in the 80s.
That's right, I remember.
Because you did have to. Even the hospitals never. Yeah. I remember you watched the old Heartbeat and the Royal on telly. I mean, they're smoking while they're operating. That's how it used to be.
Having a Benson while they're pulling an heart out.
That's how it was, It's over the years, it's like everything, it's tightened up, and it's progressed to the better.
Yeah. Well, it's progress, but there's you've obviously heard horror stories about tattoos going wrong. There must be, there must be a lot of artists out there what kind of fuck up.
Yeah, if they don't know what they're doing, go too deep, you can do a lot of scarring. And the old days and all, going back to the tattoo removal, we used to use this thing called tannic acid. You used to tattoo acid into the skin, go over it with caustic pencil, and it'd blister and fester up, go black, and take the ink out. But it's a horrendous process. Oh, it used to green gunk going down your arm. It was awful.
Come on.
And it used to scar, but it'd take the ink out. I mean, no, it doesn't.
Probably didn't take your arm off.
You'd probably lose your arm, but your tattoo would go.
But, so, you started tattooing at 8, probably younger than 18.
Yeah, I probably wasn't younger. I mean, you're supposed to be all 18, but no one cared in the 70s, did they?
And do you mind saying what age you are now?
60.
Wow, 48 years.
Yeah.
Same job.
Yeah.
That's some going.
Yeah. I've loved every minute of it, Sean.
Yeah.
I've done most of the conventions years ago, all around the world.
And I suppose it brings in a constant flow of different people every day.
Yeah. Different tattoos every day, different people. It's getting to the stage now where I'm like tattooing their granddad.
Yeah.
It used to be my dad. Now it's getting to the granddad stage.
Great, isn't it? That's
yeah,
great.
It's great that they're coming back, another generation.
Yeah. So you are seeing daily, really, a complete turnaround.
Yeah.
And it probably never get boring.
No, because it's something different every day, different clients, and every client's got a story to tell you. You're like a social worker as well. They open up to you.
Yeah.
If they've got any problems, they'll sit there and say, I'm not getting on with my wife. And you have to listen and try and advise them the best I can, really. Yeah. So it's a bit of therapy as well as just getting ink.
Yeah, it would be, yeah. And positive therapy. I'd imagine the people coming to you, if they're coming for more than one sitting and they've started opening up to you on the first sitting, they would obviously be dying to get back to the second.
It's like counselling, isn't it? It's like a similar thing. They can feel they've got the weight off their chest, and it's someone who can sit and listen. And I'm a positive person. I listen to both sides of the argument, and I just say what I think would be the best option to do.
Yeah.
So that can help them out that way as well as getting nice work.
Yeah. Pretty cool. So never a dull day at the office.
It's never a dull day, Sean. No.
Never a dull day at the office. But Tony, that's been such an enlightening look into tattooing. A lot of things I never heard before.
Yeah.
A lot of things I didn't hear before. But brilliant. Thank you very much.
Good. You're welcome.
Yeah, it's great time.
Thank you.
Cheers, Sean. Thank you very much, my brother. You're welcome.